When my daughter Elie started talking about an imaginary friend, I didn't think much of it. All children invent invisible companions at some point. But something about the way she spoke of Mr. Closet unsettled me. "He lives in my closet," she explained with the serious air of a 4-year-old. "But only comes out when Mommy and Daddy aren't here." I found it both adorable and a little eerie. I still figured she would eventually forget about this game and that Mr. Closet would disappear just as suddenly as he had arrived. For the first few weeks, it was innocent. Elie would talk to herself in her room, sometimes giggle. Once I heard her whispering as if she was sharing secrets with someone. One morning, I found her sitting in front of her wide-open closet, staring into the darkness with a vacant smile. "What are you doing, sweetheart?" I asked. "I'm waiting for Mr. Closet to wake up." A chill ran down my spine. There was something deeply unsettling in her voice. Then things took a darker turn. One night, as I passed by her room, I heard scratching. A dry, rhythmic sound like fingernails brushing against wood. Intrigued, I cracked the door open. Elie was sitting up in bed, eyes wide open, staring at her closet. I stepped closer. "You're not asleep, sweetheart." "Shh, Daddy, Mr. Closet wants to come out." My blood ran cold. The scratching stopped immediately. I swung the closet door open, my heart pounding. There was nothing, just her clothes hanging neatly and a few stuffed animals piled in the corner. I thought she had been dreaming and tucked her back in. But that night, I hardly slept. A few days later, we found our cat, Simba, hiding under our bed, trembling and refusing to come out. Normally, he was curious about everything, but now he wouldn't go near Elie's room. I tried carrying him inside, but he clawed at my shoulder, hissing and shredding my shirt in his panic. Then, Elie began to change. She grew quieter, more withdrawn. She would spend hours sitting in front of her closet. One evening, I caught her sliding a piece of paper under the door. "What are you doing, sweetheart?" She shrugged. "Mr. Closet asked me to draw him a picture." I picked up the paper. My heart nearly stopped. It wasn't a simple childish scribble. She had drawn a tall, thin figure with an unnaturally wide grin and hollow eyes. Does he look like this?" I asked, my throat dry. She nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, he told me he likes me a lot." That night, I locked her closet, but by morning, it was open again. Things got worse. Elie had dark circles under her eyes. She became even more distant. One morning, I found her crying. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" "Mr. Closet says you don't like him, Daddy. He says you want him to leave." I held her close, trying to reassure her, but deep inside, I felt something watching us. That night, I set up a surveillance camera in her room. I had to know what was happening. I can barely describe what I saw. Around 3 a.m., the closet door creaked open. A shadow emerged. It was impossibly tall, at least 8 feet. It bent over Elie's bed, its bony fingers brushing her face. Then, it turned its head toward the camera, and it smiled, staring into the lens with hollow black eyes. A massive, unnatural grin stretched across its grotesque face like something out of a twisted Picasso painting. It leaned over Elie, and it seemed to whisper something in her ear before slipping back into the closet, leaving the door wide open. I ran to her room, ripped out the camera, and grabbed my daughter. We left that house that night and never went back. The next night, while staying in a hotel, I woke up with a jolt to find Elie standing there, staring blankly at the closet door. "Daddy, why is he here? He says he's angry." My heart skipped a beat. "Who, sweetheart?" She turned to me, her little eyes filling with tears. "Mr. Closet. He says we shouldn't have left." Then a dull thump echoed through the room, as if something was knocking softly against the wooden door. Elie started laughing, a strange, low-pitched laugh that didn't sound like her at all. "He's coming, Daddy!" The sickening crack rang out. The closet door creaked open on its own, revealing an abyss of unnatural darkness. A freezing breath of air filled the room. Then, in a whisper barely audible, a hissing voice slithered out of the blankness. "You can stop me from seeing her. I'm a friend. But I don't like you." Elie walked into the closet. The door slammed shut behind her. I lunged forward, desperately trying to pull it open, but it wouldn't budge. I screamed her name, pounded on the wood until my fists were raw and bloody, but there was no sound. Nothing. When the authorities arrived, they had to break down the door. The closet was empty. No hidden passages, no way out. Elie was gone without a trace. Today, I'm in prison, accused of murdering my own daughter. An investigation was opened immediately after her disappearance. The hotel neighbors testified that they heard screaming, violent banging on the wood, and my desperate cries. To them, I was a father in the midst of a psychotic breakdown. My story about a shadow from the closet only sealed my fate in the eyes of the law. The police found no tangible evidence of an intruder. No forced entry, no fingerprints, nothing that could explain what had happened. They searched the room, dismantled the closet, looked for hidden compartments, but Elie had simply vanished. The lack of body worked against me. According to them, I must have hidden it somewhere. I pled my innocence, begged them to believe me. But who would believe a story like this? I have rotted in this cell for 3 years. The other inmates look at me with that mixture of pity and disgust reserved for those who hurt children. But I'm not a monster. I'm a victim. And I know that somewhere trapped in an unreachable darkness, my daughter still exists. If you're reading this and your child talks about an imaginary friend who lives in their closet, please don't make him upset.